We'll see Bubby later, okay?
Hi, this is Doron Kornbluth from Mosaica Press, and our guest for these next few minutes is Rav Shaya Winiarz. And Rav Shaya, who's with you?
Well, actually, I have my daughter Sarah Yehudis with me, but I think that she's going to walk somewhere else because she's disappointed that today we're not interviewing Bubby.
Oh, I'm sorry. We'll talk to Bubby a different time. So for those who recognize you, you need no introduction. For others, you are the author of the Mosaica book, 39 Things You Can Do on Shabbos, the Shaya Winiarz, this beautiful book. This came out quite recently, actually.
Quite recently, yes.
When was it? It's 6 months?
I think it was around Pesach time.
Oh, even shorter. Yeah, even shorter. Yeah, exactly right. So there's a first of all, Shaya, you and I have actually never met in person. We talked on the phone. We've texted, emailed, all that kind of stuff for years now. But your father, Zal, your father, was a friend of mine, and we worked together for many years. And,
yes, my father was very fond of distributing books of substance to people who could gain from them, and many of those books were written by none other than Rabbi Doron Kornbluth.
Well, it was an honor, and he was a very, very special person, and I was a great admirer of his. And maybe that's a good place for us to start, because the story of this book actually has to do with your father. So you want to tell us how it came to be?
Sure, glad to share that. It really started many, many years ago. My father was in Kira for many years, ever since he was probably a teenager, when he was a counselor in Camp Monroe, which was a camp for not Shomer Torah mitzvahs, but the staff was Shomer Torah mitzvahs, working on exposing them to the beauty of Yiddishkeit. And my father always was passionate about Kira. He felt that people would gain the best life both here and in the next world by recognizing what HaKadosh Baruch Hu has to offer. And so he always would try to teach that. And my father told me on more than one occasion that he found that people were receptive to all different parts of Yiddishkeit. And Yiddishkeit is a beautiful thing. It's something that attracts people. However, he found that there was a resistance when it came to Shabbos. People who came and spent Shabbos together with others were inspired by it, were turned on by it. However, they found that it was very hard to accept any type of observance of Shabbos. And what he told me that when he probed is that he discovered that people found that they perceived Shabbos as being a very negative type of day, a day where you can't do this, and you can't do that, and you can't do anything. Every move is restricted, which, if you want to be precise, it is true. Shabbos is a day which has many, many halachos restricting what we can and cannot do. And there's a reason for that, and if it's taken in the right way and it's presented in the right way, it doesn't have to be perceived as a bad thing. Nevertheless, my father found that people would be much more inspired and willing to accept Shabbos observance if they knew about all the positive aspects. Our generation is very positively inclined, positive reinforcement and whatnot.
Right.
And he felt that there was a need for people to recognize all that there is to do on Shabbos. So he asked me one day to write a book. He knew that I'm a writer. This is not my first book. I've written other books, and I've been writing for newspapers and magazines for a number of years now. And my father asked me if I could write such a book. The title actually was his idea, The 39 Things That You Can Do on Shabbos. He came over one day and said, Shaya, can you write a book called The 39 Things That You Can Do on Shabbos? And that's the product that we're talking about. That's the book that it took a number of years to put together, not because we didn't have things that we could think of. There were many things to think of. Actually, there were more than 39 things that I was able to think of. But we stopped at 39 so that it would match up with the 39 categories of what you cannot do on Shabbos. And that's the book that we put together.
Amazing. Have you had feedback since it came out? Have you heard from people? Anything interesting you can share?
Certainly. I heard from one person who said that throughout this pandemic, he's had a lot of time to be at home and think about his spiritual side, something which he says he hasn't done over the years because he's been busy with his business. And he said that he decided that he wanted to use this book as a guide to become Shomer Shabbat. He said that he wanted to use this, not that this book is I want to be clear that this book is not the only tool that you'll need. You have to learn what to do on Shabbos. You have to learn what not to do on Shabbos. But you have to start somewhere. And a lot of people are excited that this is a book that they can use as a guide.
I can definitely see that. I can definitely see that. So listen, I was told by the social media people that we have to keep this short because that's the way things get out today. Maybe we can speak again at some point. I'd very much enjoy that. But let me just ask you one more question, because what you focus on in the book, and I don't know if people at home can see this, is you focus on the all the do's, as the title says, right? And it's it's the singing and oneg Shabbos and the different rituals, I guess, is what the word that they use, and the davening, all the activity, and that's 99.9% of your book. But it's interesting what you just mentioned before, and one of the things that I liked was the appendix. So that being the case, why are there so many no's? Can you share that? Why did the impression that people have that it's a list of don'ts comes from somewhere, because there are don'ts. So why did Hashem create it in that way? Well, can you share any wisdom with us?
Certainly, there's what that I wrote in the book, which one can gain by reading the appendix, which and there's even more that's not written in the appendix. But I think that what people should do be happy in a place is if you have guidelines to that place. An example that I gave to somebody once is that electricity is a great thing. Electricity is wonderful. It's so amazing. It's perfect. So perhaps we should put you in a chair and load electricity into you. That wouldn't be a good idea, would it? So you would be in an electric chair. If we take electricity, which is an amazing thing, and we say where it should go and where it shouldn't go, it should not go here, it should not go there, it should not go there, and we can direct it to one particular place, a light bulb, then we'll have light. The only way we can gain is if we circumscribe and limit where we put the wonderful things. And once we put the wonderful things in the right place, we'll be able to enjoy them. Beautiful explanation. And I'm speaking to you here in Eretz Yisrael. It is Thursday afternoon, so we're getting into Shabbos mode. So I appreciate that thought of directing the energy. It's a pleasure to see you in person, and look forward to speaking again at some point, God willing. Sounds great. Thank you so much for calling me on. All the best. All the best. Bye. Goodbye.